All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to stream. Debatable if I'm alive right now, but I hope you're all doing okay. How's everyone doing today? What's the vibe? What's the energy? How alive are we? Scale of 1 to 24. Christmas, just a week away. 5. Yeah. How alive are we? Scale of 1 to 24. I don't know why I picked that number, but that's the number now. Kind of sick, but alive. Birthday's closer. Love that. I hope you're all doing well overall. I hope you're all doing all right. 14, okay. A 7. 19. Had an allergic reaction 3 days ago. I hate that for you. 25 for Christmas, but really? 12. I understand. Just upgrade your PC. Love to hear that. I also just upgraded my PC. I've got, like... I went from 16 gigs of RAM to, like 48 gigs of RAM. My PC is smooth sailing. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. As the stream title says, we are learning to draw realistic snow today, which it's not that hard. So I'm gonna do my best to teach it, but it's really not that difficult. I'm like, so I'll do my best to make this as interesting as I can. But before we get into that, all right. Oh no, I've lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. Before we get into that, let's see how well I can do this, because the script is new. Alright? Our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone. Join us for free live streams every week. And we're not just a YouTube channel. We are an online tool of illustration helping art nerds turn their passion into income. If you're an art nerd, be sure to join our Discord, where you can find our notes and artwork from streams, as well as art challenges and other resources to help you improve your art. And I also want to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members for supporting our mission. YouTube members can chat with our instructors and see video drafts before they are released, and Patreon members can level up their artwork with classes, Q&A, and live critiques, and personal support like draw-overs from instructors. That is new. Like, that is very new. But yeah. Cool and epic. A lot shorter than usual. And other thing, before we get into the stream, is our submissions. It's art submissions time. If you want your work to be displayed at the beginning of streams, you're going to have to join our Discord, !Discord, if you want to pop in there. And submit towards whatever the theme is for this month. What's the theme called this month? Hang on. I was just there. By the way, on a scale of 1 to 24, for me, it's a 2. Winterlicious is the theme this month, so food themes things that also involve winter. Pretty cool, thank you, Joe. Pretty cool, pretty epic. This first one is by Greenifer, where they said that their dragon illustration was inspired by mooncakes and dragon's beard candy, which I only know what dragon's beard candy is because I see those funny little videos where they show them making it. And everyone in the comments is always like, I want to eat that. And I always find, I'm like, I don't really want to eat it because it reminds me of fur. But I am willing to try it if it was put in front of me. But yeah, very nice. Very epic. Thank you so much for submitting. Next piece is by Carrie in the Discord. I really like the way you did this cat. I don't know what it was. I was looking through it. I'm like, I love this cat. I think the cat is so funny. I really like the way that it's rendered. I think it's really fun. I like rough rendering a lot, so I think that this one's really silly. I don't know, there's something about that cat. I love the cat. I think he's really silly. I like the funny proportions. I like the way that you rendered him out. I think he's so fun. He's just a silly guy. The scrungle. I love it. Fantastic. Amazing. Thank you so much for submitting. Last but not least, we got Quinn here. Quinn, who could not be in chat with us today, unfortunately. But Quinn, who submitted their peppermint character that they said that they did for a friend a while ago. I love peppermint. Apparently, that's a little bit unpopular. It's very 50-50. Either you love peppermint or you hate it. I personally love peppermint. I'm biased. But he's a silly guy. He is a silly guy. But this one is very silly. Love it. Thank you so much for submitting. Thank you to everybody who submitted for this week. Greenifer, Carrie, and Quinn, and everyone else who has not been featured this time around. That's totally fine. Again, !Discord if you want to, you know, have a chance at your work showing up at the beginning of stream. Pretty cool. Pretty epic. Okay. Well, it went a lot faster than normal. Cool, like that. Excuse you. Hey, listen to me. Okay. Snow. How am I gonna teach this? Let's see here. Peppermint is great. Haven't heard anyone dislike it before. I know a few people who dislike it, and it's like, I feel like they're always like 50-50 on it. It's always like because I really like peppermint, and then there's friends of mine who are like, ugh, peppermint just tastes like worse toothpaste, and I'm like, you're nuts. But maybe that's me. I find that you tend to like mint more as you get older as well, which is kind of funny. It's similar to coffee. Going a character design rampage. I have been on a D&D rampage for the past several years. Snow and ice. Alright, snow and ice. Look into D&D. Haven't had a session in a while, but I had one-on-one with the for backstory purposes. It's fun. I played D&D 2 days ago. Yeah, I could talk about my D&D characters later. Yeah, snow and ice. Both snow and ice are actually translucent, just to different degrees, right? When people draw snow, people draw ice, right? They're actually both translucent, if you didn't know that. Snow is like translucent in the way that hair is translucent, where it's like there is just a bunch of tiny little particles that give it the idea of translucency, quote unquote. So when you are drawing snow, since it is more opaque by comparison to ice, it does require subsurface scattering, very similar to skin, right? If you don't know what that is, it is just the light bouncing around on the inside of the object, and it gives it kind of a fun little orange glow because it is translucent. Snow won't have an orange glow, but it'll actually have a little blue one, which is interesting because it is just another version of water. Ice, on the other hand, it really depends on how much translucency you add. Okay, so sometimes when you have ice, it might not really be translucent at all, so you might just have kind of like a cloudy, like sharp object, or if it's like black ice, like on the road, then you might just make the road look shiny, right? Depends on how you do it, right? But let's go into snow first, because snow is a little bit easier. Alright. Snow, super, super easy. Okay, we're gonna start off with some white. Boom. Okay, we're gonna have some white here. Alright, we're gonna have... What color do we make him? Let's make him pink. Just cuz. Let's have him be Kibi. Let's make him a Corby. Alright. Let's draw on our little Kibi here. Kibi in the snow. Which is an ancient demo that I've done, by the way. Florida barely has any snow. Florida doesn't get snow, I'm pretty sure. That side of America just does not get snow because it's too hot. Keepies return to Jessie land. That's right. Alright. Snow. Super, super easy. Okay. The way that I always tend to do snow is it's like... Hang on, let me just really quickly... Snow is super, super easy for me, because all I really do, right, is it's like, oh, it's snow? Okay, it's translucent in a way, and I've got to kind of give it that sense of translucency some way or another. And more often than not, snow, you're gonna shade it with a lot of blue, just, like, if it's out in the sun, because you're gonna have that sun refracting through a bunch of tiny little snowflakes. And those snowflakes, what are they made of? Realistically, it's frozen water, right? So that frozen water has a slight blue tint, so your subsurface scattering when you are shading in your snow is going to be slightly blue. Alright, so let me just give Kibi some shadow really quickly, just so we can see where that shadow's coming from. Alright, let's say he's got a kind of longer shadow on this side. So, with the snow, really, really easy. We're gonna take a brush. This is unlike, like, other shadows where you're like, oh, like, what if I... It's like, what about the light color? What about the blah, blah, blah? More often than not, it's gonna be blue. Like, this is one of those ones where it's like, you're probably just gonna want blue for this one. And snow is gonna have a bit of this kind of bumpier texture because it's nice to give it a bit of that softness. And you notice what I'm doing? I'm adding in a lighter blue color on the end. And again, what that does is this version of subsurface scattering, right? With skin, right? When you have skin, the skin is going to have a little bit of that orangeness to it, right? But with snow, it's blue. Right? Because when we refract light through all those little snowflakes, it's gonna end up being blue. With skin, it's flesh and blood. So that's why you get a bit of orange at the edges of your shadows. But with snow, again, it's frozen water. So you're gonna get a lot of blue. Alright, just going back and forth, getting in that nice sort of bluish tone in there, right? Easy peasy, easy peasy. Super, super simple. Nothing too crazy. If I get like a snowball. It's like, let's say I got a snowball here. If we make it perfectly white, which we can in this case, because if it's freshly fallen snow, it's gonna be real white, right? Take this guy, and you can do really easily. Just add in sort of the idea of texture here. If you want to just keep it like this sort of... If you want to keep it cell shaded, you can totally do that too. I like to paint in my snow, like no matter what, but some people just, they're like, oh yeah, I want to keep it cell no matter what. That's totally fine. You can add in some suggestions like this. Easy peasy. And you notice that I'm not keeping it super, super smooth because, again, snow's got that kind of hand-structured texture. And by giving it that sort of hand-structured, like, feeling, it feels more like the texture of packed-in snow, right? You get that kind of packed-in snow look by comparison to everything else. I am doing okay, kiddo. I am, like... I am, like, half here. I apologize if I'm, like, not reading chat a lot. But yeah, I just want to get this lesson done quick so then I can read chat a lot. Right? So you kind of get what I'm putting down here. Snow, right? Lots of snow, it's gonna have texture, right? It's gonna be that pure white, and the thing that brings out that texture back is going to be your shadow, which, again, more likely than not, you're gonna want blue, right? Just because the sun, when it refracts through it, you're gonna get that blue. Ice, on the other hand, is super, super dependent. Right? Let me just, like, Ice. No, not ice-type Pokemon. I just want ice. Right? I look up ice real quick, right? So many different ice. So many ice, right? There's some ice that is more clear, right? Because, like, ice cubes. There's, like, some of that fun jazz. There's the ice at the edge of, like, polar caps, right? Like, these are pretty opaque, but it's still ice. Right? There's lots of different ways that you can draw ice. Sometimes it's going to be very similar to the way you draw snow. Sometimes you're going to get this, in which then you're going to want to look into glass, which we do have a video on, I'm pretty sure. But it's back and forth, right? Finding that sort of mid-ground. Your average ice, you're going to kind of get this, which again is probably just going to be like a sharp-edged, kind of cloudy-looking block. If I was to approach that, I probably would have, like, yep, references are your friend. If I was to approach that, I just started doing these, right? If I was to sort of approach this, what I might do is I might, like, you know, take this, take a soft brush, right, and kind of soft eraser. I might take out some of the edges here. Lock this, and then what we can do is we can emphasize some of the edges more. Very similar process to, like, drawing rock, maybe. Oops. I might actually, yeah, let's lock that, and then it's like some sides I bring up, some sides I add more shadow to. Right, give it this sort of look, and then you can go back in with your brush and add in some smaller kind of details. Again, reference is your best friend. It's one of those things where it's super, super case by case. Ice specifically, right? Because maybe you want different looking ice. Maybe you want more opaque ice. Maybe you want translucent ice, right? It depends on what you're looking for, right? That might be how I appreciate, like, how I might, like, approach it. And then maybe I might even, like, give some edges here just to give it a bit more shine, right? And if it is very, very shiny, your highlights are going to be really, really opaque, right? That goes for absolutely everything. They're going to be really opaque. They're going to be a lot less merged in, right? So, you know, whatever you're looking for when it comes to ice, that's up to you, sort of thing. But again, it's like Joe said, references, your best friend. Sometimes there is no, like, clear, like, yep, you gotta do this. Sometimes it is genuinely just, yeah, figure it out. Right? Snow, I can give you a little bit more advice on because it's more cut and dry, but ice, a little less cut and dry. But that's it. That's about the lesson. That's genuinely it. Not too much else other than that. Again, it's one of those lessons where it's like, yeah, it's just observe it, kind of figure it out. I'm sorry that this one's not that helpful. I'm like, sometimes lessons like these pop up and I'm like, I actually don't really know how to teach this. It's kind of just references are your best friend. You know, we're not having this conversation, Mr. Half said. Not today. Not this time. Oh, whoops. Did I? Oh, I so did. I got rid of it. Alright, friends. As the poll said, drawing with pen, colored pencils, and highlighters recently. It's been really fun. Oh yeah, no, drawing with those mediums are really fun. I have recently been doing lithography and embroidery. I'm trying to do other arts for hobbies that are not drawing. Because illustration is kind of just my whole life, so I'm like, I want to do other arts. So my hobbies at current that are art related, because I kind of just live and breathe art as a whole. I have been baking, I have been embroidering things, and I have been sewing, and I have been doing lithography, which is the art of stamp making, if people don't know that. Like cutting out the linoleum, which is like a rubber, and then you carve it out, and then you put on ink and you stamp it. Like that's kind of what I've been doing. Try crochet. My best friend's been doing crochet. I want to try knitting, though. If they're crocheting, I want to knit. Because I see all these knit sweaters, and I'm like, I want to knit sweaters! But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, lesson is super, super short. Yeah, I apologize. Sometimes it's harder to come up with things. Okay! Alright, friends. As the poll says, in the community notes, you guys chose snow and ice for me to draw. Okay, I'm gonna say this once, just as every other stream like this before it. When somebody asks me, is this real? I'm going to write this on the screen. This is /J. This means joke /J, okay? I will never break character until the very end of the stream. I will write /J on the screen if somebody is being earnest. This is my signal to you that yes, this is an improv thing. This is a joke. We are joking, okay? This is your one and only warning, all right? If somebody new pops in and they're like, what's going on? And I write /J on the screen, everybody else can break character and tell them, hey, this is kind of an improv thing. It's a joke that pops up, okay? But I will not be breaking character from here on out until the final end of the stream, all right? This is your one and only warning. This is how these streams work. All right, as I said, we're going to be drawing snow and ice today. I kind of wanted to do a scene, but I'm not, like, sure. Like, I super could, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to. Because I'm like... Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We're gonna get banned if we don't? No, you're fine. Don't worry. Everything here is just for fun. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a scene. Why not? I really wanted a scene of like snow trailing up a tree. I've also been messing around with lasso tool sort of artwork, which has been really, really fun. So I'm going to work with that today. But no, like I saw it happened again, by the way, the late night Nat Geo, which is like, it's super weird because it's like, you know, like I mentioned it before, like sometimes it's like you're in the middle of watching a video, or maybe you're just doing something, all right, and then suddenly whatever screen you're looking at, it shifts, and like suddenly it's like oh, you got another documentary on, you're like, okay, guess I'm learning some new information about the world tonight. And then once the program's over, it shuts down, suddenly I fall asleep where I'm sitting, and there's no trace of the episode ever airing. So, you know, it's always fun. And this time around it was snow and ice, which was interesting. I was really into how this one worked out. It's not too dissimilar from clouds, actually. It was pretty cool. Because, like, the last time we talked about clouds, right, it was like, oh yeah, the clouds are alive, and they've got, like, arms that'll, like, come down, right? Which I thought was really cool, and I'm like, I want to draw these cloud characters, because it's, like, cloud hunting seemed like something that could be fun, right? And I'm like, because this time around, because what they talked about, right, I'm sitting there, and they're saying, like, oh yeah, it's, like, the snowflakes, you know, they're actually just parts of strands of DNA, which is, like, interesting. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? And they're like, apparently it like makes up, because you know how snow is, right? It's like a bunch of like little snowflakes, right? But those snowflakes, the reason that they're all different is because they're all like different, you know, like parts of it's like DNA. It's like different parts of DNA, and no two DNA strands are exactly the same. Like there are some that are similar, but they're not all exactly the same. And like as snow gathers, it kind of creates a body, which is cool. It's like when you're walking on snow, you're actually walking on an amalgamation of something that could be alive. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty neat. So it's like, you know, have you ever heard the thing where your friends are like, oh, it's like everywhere you step, you're stepping on bugs, and it's like, is that true? And they're like, yeah, it's true. And it's because it's like, you know, like bacteria and whatever, or like tardigrades and stuff that you can't see. It's apparently similar. It's all just DNA. It's all just little particles of DNA, which I think is interesting. So I kind of want to show that off. It's like, what if, like, you know, they kind of congeal, which they also talked about too, but it's like we're lucky that it melts fast enough that it doesn't really happen. Snow hold anchor when you step on it. Well, no, it's because it's just pure DNA, right? Like, so it doesn't really have like cognitive thought yet. I like they said, it's like we're lucky that like it hasn't like totally formed yet, or else yeah, probably it would probably figure out like, whoa, hey, this is not cool, dude. Which is pretty nuts, I think. I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about here. But yeah, no, am I the only one who caught it? I feel like sometimes there are other people that end up catching the broadcast, but I'm like, this one was pretty late. It was like, oh man, it was like, I want to say it was like 4 a.m. this time. Hi, Galena. We're talking about snow. It was really late this time. It was like 4 a.m. kind of. And they were like, yeah, it's like, we're gonna be talking about snow tonight. And I'm like, okay. One of the cooler broadcasts, I think. Why should you do that? Does it only air in Canada? I'm genuinely not sure. Because I can never find like stuff about it afterwards. It's always like, oh yeah, it happens, and then like I ask people, and it's like I can only ever hear about it from word of mouth because like there's no trace of it online. It's like it never existed. But it's like I know it existed because like some of you guys talk about it sometimes, which is like crazy. So it is like genuinely like a like what's going on kind of thing, you know? Kind of interesting. Oh, I should have kept these unmerged. Let's unmerge them really quickly. Yeah. So then I can do this really quickly. Yeah. I remember the stream when you first brought it up, late night in that Geo. Yeah, 100%. There's like, that was the first time I ever saw it. It was the reindeer, I'm pretty sure. Where it's like, oh, it's like people when they hear Santa on the roof. It's not actually a bunch of reindeer. It's actually just one. It's got a bunch of legs. It's like a unknown thing for people. And it's like, whoa, it's pretty crazy, you know? It's up till 3. I don't think I didn't tune in. No? Maybe the broadcast didn't, like, find you this time or something. I don't know. I always find that it pops up, like, in the middle of me just doing anything. Maybe you have to be chosen or something. I don't know. That would be pretty cool, though, if it's, like, a chosen thing. So maybe there are ones that I've missed, too, and I don't even realize. That's pretty nuts. Staying up till 3 a.m. is so real. I actually haven't like properly stayed up until 3 a.m. in a really long time. It was like this one just happened recently. I was like working on holiday gifts and whatever. What was I in the middle of watching? I think I was in the middle of watching it's ironic. I was in the middle of watching a horror like a horror thing. Like I was in the middle of listening to a horror story. because it's some of my favorite pastimes. So fun. We don't talk about the thing. We actually talk about it all the time, though. It's like, we talk about it, but, like, it's just, I can never find it on the internet, specifically. Like, I can never find a trace. It's fascinating. What I'm doing right now, by the way, is I'm lasso tooling and everything. It's kind of it's a neat trick. I really like it. I've been doing it recently. Been really enjoying figuring out how this thing works. It's a good way to, like, really quickly get some shading and whatnot done, which is nice. Shading and lighting, and then, like, you just kind of fill it in afterwards. I don't like that. Let's leave it. Okay, then hands. Now Geo chooses its viewers. Probably. I would not be surprised. Genuinely. I'm like, yeah. It's kind of just how it goes. You know? I genuinely just choose not to question it. Just because it's like, I get cool information and then there's something cool to talk about on stream next time. I'm like, yeah. It's like, you know what? It's made me more wary of clouds. It's made me more wary of rats. It's made me more wary of rain, you know? It's like, I'm probably safer for it, in all honesty. I mean, the Rat Kings? Yeah, the Rat Kings. 100%. Yeah. What it feels like staying up all night? It doesn't feel good. Don't do it. It makes you feel awful the next day. That's what it makes you feel like. Good old dose of paranoia. No. I know what paranoia feels like. This is just caution. Like, paranoia was when I was, like, younger and, like, okay, so when I was really young, I really wanted to get into horror. At one point, because I was an intense scaredy cat, right? Like you kind of know me now. I'm like, I love horror. I kind of love scary things. But, like, when I was a kid, hated it. Couldn't stand it. I didn't even want to go into a Walmart because I was too scared of seeing the Halloween decorations. Like, I hated Halloween. It was, like, worst time of the year for me. And I hit maybe 13, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be scared of this stuff anymore. I'm gonna get used to horror. I'm gonna get used to things that are scary, and it won't affect me anymore. And I started by reading scary stories, like, every night before I went to bed. It was, like, I microdosed, like, with stories and, like, and watching, like, horror game playthroughs. And, like, I very specifically remember how terrible my paranoia was. It was bad. It was, like, super, super bad. Like, I jumped at, like, every sound. It was really, really rough. And, like, I would be super fine during the day, and then the night would come, and, like, suddenly, like, it all, like, weighed down, and it was, like, the worst feeling ever. I had, like, the strongest paranoia for, like, 2 years, I want to say. It was a really long time. And now I'm an adult, and it's really hard to scare me. It's really hard to give me that kind of, like, same paranoia now, because I'm just, like, I've gotten so used to it. I'm like, yeah, no, I love this stuff. It's so fun. But yeah, no. So whenever I run into a story, or if I find a game that actually, like, properly scares me, like, properly gives me that sense of dread, I get really excited. Because I'm like, this thing is awful. It's horrifying. Nothing will ever scare me as much as PT Silent Hill did when it first came out, though. That was... I am still searching for a game that will scare me the same way that one did. When it first came out. Hi, Kevin. Welcome in. I had to stop by to see Snow and Ice. Yeah, there was a new Nat Geo stream. We were talking about, like, how snow is actually just a bunch of, like, like DNA. Like, it's not actually just like snowflakes. Like, snowflakes they actually found are like unstrung like DNA strands, and they all sort of like congeal together when they come back down to Earth. So realistically, snow is alive, but it melts so fast that it actually can't make a proper living organism, so it never gets smart enough to actually hurt us, which is like lucky for us. But if it was ever put in like a controlled situation where it could like congeal and become real, then we would all be in a lot of trouble. which is interesting, I think. Snow is a living creature? Yeah, 100%. No. Snow, like... It's super alive. Like, when... Like, that's why, like, with snow... Like, have you ever seen the thing where it's, like, no two people's fingerprints look the same, or no two strands of DNA look exactly the same? It's the same thing with snow. Like, you know, like, no two snowflakes look the same. It's really a similar idea, because it's DNA. It's actually just a living organism when it comes to life, which is like it's cool. I'm like, whoa, really? It's like, no way, but apparently it's true. It's what Nat Geo at Night told me. Is that why a lot of people don't come back from Mount Everest? I'm not sure. Like, maybe because that, like, it's what they said. It's like we're lucky that it doesn't have a chance to congeal, but like if it was congealing in somewhere like Mount Everest, I'm like, yikes. It's like those poor people, I guess. It's like maybe in like maybe that's also a reason why like not too many people live in areas where there's snow year round, right? It's like, it's actually really, really dangerous to live in those kinds of areas, right? Because imagine, right, you have like a biological thing, and it can kind of break itself apart and put itself back together at a moment's notice. And it could, like, encompass you in seconds. Right? Like, they're saying, like, snow melts too fast. When they say, like, it melts too fast, they're like, like, on average, it would probably take, like, a year or two for it to, like, gain any kind of intelligence. So, like, it being there for, like, months is not, like, too bad. But, like, if it was there for, like, years and years and years, it would, like, learn, right? And it would, like, become, like, some kind of sentient. So that's why they're like, oh, yeah, it's like, we're lucky that it's only here for a few months out of the year. Because if it was any more, we'd be doomed, probably. That's their estimate, anyway. Like, that's what they're saying. Like, they guess. Hi, we're talking about snow. You have so many questions? I mean, I watched the program if you have questions. I'm like, maybe I can answer it. Because I do remember it. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't remember falling asleep after, like, it airs. I don't remember, like, I don't remember being put to sleep, I guess. I don't remember, like, falling asleep or anything like that. But every single time the program ends, it's over. And then suddenly, like, poof, it's gone. And I'm like, oh. And then it's just like, you know, whatever I was watching, it's just paused. And I'm, like, never able to go back to it, but, you know. It is how it is. It's just kind of how late night Nat Geo is. You notice kind of what I'm doing with the snow? I'm not really leaving any of it super, like, unrendered, because it looks a lot nicer when it is, right? You kind of see, like, the snow subsurface scattering that's going on. It makes it look really, really nice. Wonder if that snow thinks that fake instant snow is super uncanny valley. I'd imagine if it could think, it totally would. It's kind of like how we, like... Did you ever see the, like, elf animatronic that's available at, like, Home Depot or something? That's so scary. It's so funny. I love it. I've not seen Wicked, no. 20-ish episodes until I finished the Magnus Archives. I watched the Magnus Archives when it was new. I was still, like... Oh, man. I have watched every single episode except for the final one, which is really funny. And, like, I keep forgetting to go and watch it. So I still haven't. But, yeah. Snow on the tree, Loki looks like a hand reaching up and hugging the tree. No, that's the intended purpose. That's what it is, because that's what snow can do. Like, if it was there for enough years, it would probably gain enough sentience, and it would be able to, you know, grab things like trees. And grab us, probably. We'd probably die a lot more. Like, I mean, more than we already do to snow, because, like, snowfalls and stuff like that are really, really dangerous for, like, snowboarders and whatever. It's like, I can only imagine what would happen if the snow gained, like, sentience and stuff, right? It's like, yeah, we would be super dead. Yeah, 100%. I am just really feeling like doing a kind of like what if illustration, you know, for like what I learned the other night. It's like, what if snow actually was able to gain sentience faster? You know? It'd be pretty cool. Imagine you snow golems taking down cities. Oof. If they were able to, like, congeal fast enough, yeah. That'd be rough. I do concept art, yeah. No, I am normally a concept artist. That's one of the things I do. This one, though, is just me repeating what I saw the other night. Like, this is kind of just a study. Like, a study based off of memories, anyway. Because, like... I don't know. Again, like I said, like, I can never find what I saw. I can never find what happened. Jessie, you've worked as a writer for Goosebumps? Yes. No, I don't have the... I'm not R.L. Stine. Are you kidding me? I could never. The genius that R.L. Stine is. So funny. And also, no, I wouldn't have wanted to. I would have been too scared. Definitely as a kid. Goosebumps would have been unironically terrifying to me when I was a child. What's something you want people to know about concept art? Don't try to come up with new ideas. Try to make ideas better. I hate the fear that people have where they're like, oh, it's my idea is not original enough. That's not what you should be striving for, bruh. What you should be striving for is making an idea interesting. So don't try to make it new. Try to make it like, because people still play games about, like, knights and dragons and quests and like whatever, right? And there's a reason why those things work. It's because they're cool, right? So like, don't try to make something like super new. Just make sure that the concept is cool. Make sure that it's better. Don't make something new, make something better. You know? And there are lots of ways to do that, you know? There's lots of ways to kind of come up with stuff that's, like, better, quote-unquote. You know, you can, like, reach into your visual library, come up with stuff that's cooler. You can, like, take inspiration from things that are other than, like, illustration or, like, the base idea, right? That sort of thing. There's lots of ways that you can make your ideas cooler, right? Make better ideas. So yeah, don't try to make stuff super original all the time. Don't be afraid of making things original. Be afraid of making it better. One of my favorite concepts one of my friends, he's really really good at making monsters, our DM for D&D, and he made the cool, well, we weren't playing D&D, we were playing Candela Obscura, but he made the coolest version of a vampire I've ever seen. I was so excited about this monster. There's a couple of things that he's done that I was really excited about. I really liked his idea of a vampire. He took the idea of a library at one point and made that into a monster in D&D. That was really cool. He's actually had, like, he's made two vampires. There's the key vampire, yes, Vin. The vampire where it's not really, like, he took the idea of, like, a vampire where it's like, oh, you have to let it into your house. And in this case, the vampire, quote-unquote, took the shape of, like, a key. And that key, you would use it to unlock your house. It would, like, trick you to unlock your house with it. And that was you letting it in. And, like, when it would be let in, it would, like, take the form of the shadows of the house and slowly encompass you. And, bro, what has more shadows than the inside of your body, right? So it would, like, slip between, like, the skin and your muscle, and it would get really itchy, and, like, it would, like, exsanguinate you. It was so cool. Coolest vampire I'd ever seen. I was like, are you kidding me? It's so sick. And then there was another vampire that he made for actual D&D, and it was, like, another version of a vampire. He said it came to him in a nightmare, and I was like, this is the sickest nightmare. But he made a guy. It was like a dude, and, like, a humanoid, and their cardiovascular system was on the outside of the body. And instead of using, like, fangs, the veins, it was, like, a direct, like, almost plug, right? So you would get hit with its veins, and it would, like, start to drain you. So cool. Super hard fight at the time. It was really hard at the time. But no, great stuff. Hi, Colfer, welcome in. But no, really, really cool monsters. And again, vampire. A vampire is so overdone. There's so many things have been done with vampires. If you can make an original idea out of a vampire, or a more interesting idea out of a vampire, you can do anything, right? It's so yeah, don't try to make something new, try to make something better. Oh yeah, and then there was that other monster that I really, really liked that he had. He called it, the Archive or something like that. And it was like a banshee. It was like a floating ghost thing. This one was also D&D. It was like a floating ghost thing, and it looked like the Grim Reaper. But if you looked closer at it, it's like, its cloak, quote unquote, was made of, like, flattened people. It was like skin. And, like, if you died to it, it would, like, take you, and, like, you would become another page, quote unquote, in its archive. So cool. I was like, what? I was like, what? Right when he fought it. Also a hard fight. But it was so cool. I was like, ah. Anyway, I love monsters. I love really cool, like, interesting ideas. I'm so for that. I love really, really interesting kind of ways of approaching things. Like, I'm a really big dragon fan, so I'm like, I love being interesting with dragons as well. But yeah. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, clearly I'm really into I'm into the scarier stuff now. I definitely wasn't when I was a kid, but I'm like, the weirder, the more, like, the funkier you can make some of these concepts, the better. I love funky, scary monsters. My DM friends have really cool monster designs, and I'm so into them every time. Morbid taste. It's fun, though. It's so cool. I'm like, especially with me, I have such an interest in, like, the human body and, like, anatomy and stuff. So I'm like, the more anatomical you can get with it, the more like rooted in reality you can get with certain concepts, the better in my eyes. Because I'm like, the more plausible you can make something, the scarier it is. So it's like, some of the scariest things, some of the scariest stories I've been told were ones that are like super realistic. And I'm super into it. I love it. In the olden days, snow lasted longer, so snow had time to form a living being that invited as a dragon and then it melted. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's been proven, like, when people thought that dragons existed, they actually just dug up dinosaur bones. And they thought that those were dragons. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's how it went. Which is also kind of funny, though. That would be interesting. That does beg the question, though. Like, what was around during, like, the Ice Age? You know? Like, if it had time to kind of congeal back then and was there for, like, years. For like, ages, right? Like, after like, the dinosaurs went down. Right? You know, snow was there for a really, really long time because of, like, you know, the Ice Age that happened. So, like... And if it's snow, right, there would be no evidence of those kind of creatures. But, you know what, I guess that it kind of makes sense why we find a lot of Ice Age creatures petrified in ice. It's just kind of the snow still holding it. Kind of scary. Penny Saw is so cool. Thank you. I like going back and forth with it. I think it's fun. Like, it really does just kind of explain... some things with the Ice Age worked. It's interesting, they didn't even talk about that. Maybe it was just not, like... I mean, if they didn't bring it up, maybe it's not real, right? But... I don't know, maybe we discovered something. Maybe we thought about something. You know, the Ice Age is so dangerous. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, this Nat Geo episode was short. It was like, I want to say it was maybe like 20 minutes by comparison to the others, which are usually like an hour. I don't know. The person talking seemed more scared than usual, so I'm like, maybe they were on a deadline or something. I'm like, I get that. We discovered fire and ended the Ice Age. Yep. Let the snow melt. You ever think about that? Maybe that's also like it was a defense against the snow. Like, you know, like fire was good for warmth, but it also was a defense against the snow. Interesting. That would be pretty cool. It's like maybe that's how we survived back then and then we forgot about it. I don't know. Late Night Nat Geo is weird. They kind of just show up and then leave. Not to eat the yellow snow, yeah, no. I mean, you probably shouldn't eat snow in general. I mean, now we know that it's, like, DNA, so you're kind of just eating, like, a living creature. Which, like, you know, we kind of do that all the time anyway with meat, so, like, maybe you don't care. But this one's, like, still alive, so, like, maybe that's different. Kind of creepy. Think about that. If you ate snow, you ate something alive. You ate something while it was still alive. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not exempt from this. I ate snow when I was a kid, so. So like, whoa. It's like you ate like. It's like we ate like the live thing. We eat live squid. I mean, it's not live. Okay, when we eat like squid and octopus, it's dead, but it's still moving. So like, because like you're not reaching into the water and immediately biting the squid, right? Like the way how they prepare it is they move it to the kitchen and then they like chop off the tentacle bits and then you like eat it and it's still moving. It's like they're not alive, they're still just moving. Yeah, nerves in the arms and stuff, yeah. So some places eat types of shrimps alive? I'm not sure. That one I don't know. I'm in the Philippines? I am Filipino. I am Filipino, so I'm like, I don't know, I've never heard of that. Any recommendations what to begin studying when you're stuck? Study observation. Don't just try to pick one thing. Observation encapsulates everything. So you take what you're drawing and you go, okay, how am I gonna learn from this? Studying from observation is like being like, okay, I recognize that like what I am looking at is like, it's like I recognize that what I'm looking at is like, maybe it's round on this side. Maybe this part is smaller than this. Maybe this part is... Working from observation is drawing what you see, not what you think you see. And it makes it easier to work from reference as well. There's a lesson that I love to teach. It's called How to Draw Everything. And it's just like, it is just the art of drawing from observation. I don't think we have a video on it. I know I've taught it for classes before though. But yeah, I highly recommend just learn to draw from observation. Horrifying to see squid arms like that. I really want to try eating like the half alive squid. I think it'd be fun. Klingons eat live food? I see. I've always been confused by drawing what you see, not what you think you see. So when you are drawing, right? Have you ever done life drawing before, Roxy? Have you ever done life drawing before? Yeah, fantastic. So what you know how you have, like, if you have your model in front of you and you have your page, right? The ratio that my prof gave me was you're probably going to be looking at your page 10% of the time. Okay? And what you're going to be doing is you are going to be looking at your model the majority of the time, and you are going to be observing and figuring out exactly what it is that you are looking at, right? If you stare at your page for too long, you are no longer drawing what you're looking at, you are drawing what your brain is trying to fill in, right? So if you draw what you see, not what you think you see, you are copying exactly what is in front of you. You are not trying to fill in the information from your brain, right? So don't try to memorize everything. Don't try to memorize anything if you are doing life drawing. Don't try to memorize anything if you're doing a study, right? You are drawing what is exactly in front of you, right? So draw what you see, not what you think you see. That's what that means. What one is it? It's Brandon Grotesque that I use, right? Yes. This is fun. I finished this so fast. Here's the Alright, I lied. I am breaking character for a second. Here's the problem with, like, these, like, late night Geo streams is that, like, usually I do them when the stream topic is, like, really, really easy. And that also means that the actual thing that I'm drawing is really, really easy. So I'm like, snow is actually super easy for me. I'm like, oh shoot, I have like an hour left. I compare, like, I've done a whole painting in less than an hour. I think it's been, like, what has it been? It's been, like, 30 minutes. So funny. Okay, I'm back in character. Well, maybe we'll do another one. Didn't you do liner color? No, it's so fast. It is so fast. Okay. Cracked at the craft. It's just easy, bro. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, yeah, it's just really, really easy. Maybe I'll draw more of what I saw. Because they, like... The snowflake looks like under a microscope. Well, no, here's the thing, is that snowflakes look exactly the same. Like, that is just what snow DNA looks like. Like they were saying. Like, again, it's like DNA strands. Like, they're all just DNA. It's just that's what snow DNA looks like. It's just an everlasting fractal kind of thing, right? They did show off, like, what was possible of, like, the snow, right? Like, what was possible for them to become, you know? I'm like, that was interesting. Like, it was, like, they put them in, like, a controlled area and kind of let the snow become something over time, which is interesting. And, like, they showed what it could become, and that's why it's, like, so terrifying. So, like, maybe that. I can do that. It also will not take me very long, but I'll do it. Heard chicken scratching is bad. I do a weird mix of occasional chicken scratches and some strong lines. Any tips for converting slowly to swift lines? Learn how to do stuff on the first try. Alright, learn how to do stuff on the first try, okay? And what that's going to require you to do is you're going to have to learn to stop relying on undo and stop relying on an eraser. When you learn how to do just swift lines straight out the gate, what you're learning to do is to get those lines right on the first try. And what I really like to do is what I did when I was younger is I would, like, take a pen, go somewhere where, like, it would be really hard to, like, you know, take a pen, go somewhere where it would be really hard to erase something, right? Like, or go somewhere where it would be really hard to draw a straight line without, like, fear of bumps, right? So, like, a bus or, like, a car, right, where things are gonna get really, really bumpy really, really fast, right? And by going in there, you're gonna have to kind of get used to, you know, doing stuff on the first try, especially if you're working with something that can't be erased, like a pen. And then what happens is that over time, you'll get better at doing stuff right on the first try, because you can't erase a pen, right? You learn to be really swift, you learn to be fast, you learn to kind of do stuff on the first try. It's like a go, go, go kind of thing. Because what you're doing when you're chicken scratching is you're hesitating. You're kind of like, you're doing this, right? And that's you hesitating with your lines. It's less confidence. Being confident with your lines is everything. Learning how to sort of do it right on the first try is everything. And it's a lot of practice. Like, a lot of it. You know? Swift. Fast. Yippee! You know what we're gonna do to get this nice, because You want a real trick. If you want a nice kind of like scratchy look that sort of has like a natural sort of shake to it, work with your non-dominant hand and you can create some really nice, awful looking forms that you would not do if your hand sort of defaults to a sort of smooth way of working. Like mine, like you kind of just saw, I'm very smooth with the way that I work, so like trying to create these like really awful kind of like forms is hard if you are really, really methodical with the way that you place things. So this way I can have a more natural looking lump in that kind of regard, you know. No, you're all good. At the end of the day, it's an art stream. So, you have questions, I'll answer them. There isn't much snow. I do live in an area where we get snow. I mean, it's less than usual. I mean, this year was starting to look promising, and then it was less snow, which made me sad. But, you know, so be it. It is cold, though. So, maybe we'll get more snow. Love how chill these streams are. It's on account to me having no energy. With crazy snow where I live, yeah, some of my friends have been hit with crazy snow as well, which I'm like, I want snow. Yeah, it was like, they had like controlled, like, they were like, it was so crazy. Like the controlled area where they had the snow in on the Nat Geo episode, it was like, you could actively see the snow like trying to take forms that it had like observed from us, which I thought was like really crazy. I'm like, oh my god, it's really trying to like become like a person. It's almost like a mimic in a way, you know, like a D&D mimic, which I thought was pretty cool. But like it's its own DNA. It's just trying to come up with like the optimal form to become, and I guess like it kind of just picked a person in that way, which is like kind of crazy. So I don't know if maybe there were snowmen in the Ice Age. Maybe there were like proper snowmen that were like around, you know. That would be pretty crazy. Head angles are hard. I'm getting used to it. Yeah, head angles are rough at first. 100%. Sprained my dominant wrist for the second time this year recently, so I've wholeheartedly just committed to learning how to draw with my left hand as well. That's fun. I really like, I know some people who do that. I like leaving it undominated just because, like, I can do stuff like this. Where I can really cheat out of doing, like, more like natural shake, that kind of thing. Welcome back. Another fear of weather. Hey, man. People are like, oh, it's the least explored place. The ocean is less explored than the ocean is less explored than like like spaces, you know. It's like we know less about our ocean than we do about the space, right? Which is scary. But people never think to explore the sky, bro. Realistically, nothing has more surface area than the sky. And nothing has more area than the sky, right? And we can see all of it, so we're like, oh, we're not gonna explore that. But like, what could be hiding up there, dude? We're not sure. Things be hiding, bro. What snow is also a really good exercise of is like planes and stuff. Just kind of have to figure out where your light is coming from, what you're choosing to sort of carve out, which is fun. That's super cool, Flighty. That's really cool, kiddo. Our old anatomy videos are old. I love looking back. I mean, I actually kind of hate it. Looking back at some of the old videos that I'm in, and I'm like, they're like pre me going to university or whatever, and it's like, I see it, and I'm like, oh, I don't agree with what I said there anymore. Like, especially those, like, old animal anatomy videos. I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, that's one of the most viewed things ever, and I don't agree with it anymore, which is really funny. But yeah, it's funny. I think it's interesting. Sometimes I kind of forget that I'm a public figure. It's like, I look back on stuff and it's like sometimes people will, like, my friends will tell me, and they're like, oh yeah, one of my friends said that they watched videos that you're in, and I'm like, that's nuts. I'm just a dude. Like, I'm just a guy, you know? I'm like, I don't think of myself as anything crazy, I guess. I'm like, I'm just a person. But then I am, like, constantly reminded that, no, actually, you're a public figure. I'm like, oh shoot, I guess I am. Like, one of my partner's friends, he was on call with them, and they were like, wait, your partner is Jessie? He's like, I watch her all the time. And he was like, oh yeah, no. she's my partner, which is really funny. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm being perceived. Our teacher's gonna grow. Oh, 100%. I love telling my students, I'm like, every single teacher that you've ever had, take their word with a grain of salt. Including me. I'm like, listen, man. I'm like, take everything that you hear who teaches you with a grain of salt, because realistically, they're like learning too, you know? Especially with art. There's so much to learn with art. Art at the end of the day is so subjective, so it's like sometimes you might even find techniques that like I don't use or like somebody else uses that I like don't prefer to use, and you're like, oh, actually I like how this looks, and it's like, okay, man, like that's fine. Whatever you're feeling, you know? Basically the biggest current public figure in Canada for Justin Bieber moves. It's just Jessie left. Bro. Videos online and stuff of bosses so I can practice drawing fast lines. Oh, no, Tenebris. When I say, like, draw on a bus, I mean, like, actually go on a bus or, like, in a car. And the reason for that is because they're really shaky and hard to draw in. It's like you draw while you're inside of I'm so sorry, I'm like half alive, so it's hard for me to explain things right now. When I say like, oh, you want to get better with lines, I suggest like go somewhere that's like really shaky, where you're not stable, because then if you're working with a pen, it's more likely that you'll mess up. So it's like, if you're working with a pen, it's more likely that you'll mess up and then you won't be able to erase it. So that's you trying to learn to live with your mistakes. So, but then eventually over time, you'll get really good at getting stuff right on the first try, right? So when you're on like a bus or like in a car and you're working with a pen, it's more likely like the car or the bus will bump on something, you mess up the line, you're like, oh shoot, well, I can't fix that, right? But over time, you'll get fast enough and you'll get better at doing it, right? Another thing too is if you draw the people that are around you, do life drawing of the people that are around you, these are models that are going to be moving constantly. You don't know if you have 30 minutes, you do not know if you have 30 seconds. So you have to draw these people as fast as you possibly can. And that includes, and on top of that, you are working with a pen and you are on something super, super shaky. So it is more likely than not you're gonna mess up, right? But again, you'll get faster because you'll have to draw these people faster. You'll get more confident because you need to work with less. You need to get better at working with less lines. You need to be faster. You need to be more confident at getting your lines right on the first try, right? That's the combination. Sorry. I am like not here right now. I'm so sorry. I feel like I apologize for not being here every single stream. Sure, but this is life drawing where people come and go, so you have limited time to draw your subject. Yeah, that too. It's mixing it all. It's mixing it all together, making the most unideal situation possible for yourself. And it makes it feel great. Yeah, and it makes you way better at what you do. You do, Jessie. Yep. Yep, and it's not a lie. It's just kind of how every stream is. Especially because it's like right after I teach too, so I'm like already kind of fried. I like my situations to be ideal. That's too bad, bro. Sometimes they're not. That was super loud. I'm so sorry. That's too bad. No ideal situations for you. I've taken them away. You'll find they're gone now. I hate them. You'll never have an ideal situation again. That's a joke, by the way. You're fine. Oh, dance is great for practicing gesture. Dancers, great one. I used to use contortionist. That was my choice of weird pose. No wonder you're so good at muscles and bones. Well, I mean, back when I did do a lot of when I drew a lot of contortionists, I hadn't really studied. It was genuinely just a lot of me, like, like back then it was it was exclusively observation. Now I actually know what's under there, and it's like, I love looking at the difference between like my doodles and things that I drew because it's so clear. The difference when I've actually learned what was under there. It's really funny. I like it a lot. Is there any exercises that are great for concept art? Write. It's not a joke. Get better at writing first. If you can't come up with good ideas, when you write, how are you going to come up with concepts when you draw? You know? Become a better writer. Like me, I love comics. I love making comics. So I've always kind of been a writer and an artist in that way. Yeah, writing ideas is such an underrated part of the drawing process. 100%. I love writing ideas out. My DMs hate me. I am such a writer. I love, like, when I create my characters for D&D, each one of my main campaign characters has a Google document that is no less than 15 pages. I am currently writing one for a character, and hers is almost done. It's not completely done, but it's almost done at 21 pages. You know? Corn's is 22. Corn's D&D... Corn's, like, backstory... Corn's backstory file is 22 pages. And it is, like... There are, like, subheaders and stuff that you can jump to throughout the entire document. There are subheaders, there are things... subheaders and subheaders for those subheaders. There are, like, different things about him. There are different, like, things in his backstory. There are different other characters, right? Stuff like that. This current character that I'm writing, I have written out her anatomy and how it works. And so there is a section for, like, her topical anatomy. There is stuff for, like, her internal workings and how those work. And it's all, like, written back towards, like, and, like, physical, like, bone structure and anatomy and stuff like that, but it's with a hint of, like, fantasy in there, because that's just what I like to do. It's so, like, it's so egregious how much I have written, and I'm not even done. Like, I'm done the physical aspects of how she works, but there are other things about her that I need to finish up, which is, like, really funny. But it is... I add subheaders and stuff in there, and I have, like, areas where it's like, you can jump to this section through here. It's like, if you want to remember more about this, there's this section too, kind of thing. And those are, like, hopefully to make the DM's life a little bit easier if they need to search for something. I have little TLDR sections in areas as well, if they don't have the time to read the whole thing, that sort of thing. But no, it's... Writing is really fun. It's really important. I'm so normal! What are you talking about? What did you miss in the stream? Oh, we talked about Late Night Nat Geo, the new episode that I saw recently, how snow is alive, and, like, its DNA strands. We're talking about D&D, we're talking about... And currently we're talking about, like, how writing is a really important part of concept art. I want to make a comic but half the characters have animal features. Hey man. You and me both. The comic that I'm writing is a dragonborn for the main character, so there you go. I love drawing animal features on characters. I think it's fun. I love mixing anatomy. I think it's really, really interesting. It makes the... When I was in high school, I did it a lot, and it gave a better understanding of human anatomy when I did something that wasn't human anatomy, because it was, like, easy to relate the two together. It was fun. It was a good way to learn, I think. Snow piles. Snow. I am like, it's 4:26. I've done another one. The snow is too easy, bro. What am I gonna do? What do? We write. Snow, more like sneeze. How long is stream supposed to be? We've got another half hour. Let's see, let's write on this then. Why not? Don't you dare draw corn, I know you want to. Not on this, no. I'm like, if we finish this early, I might just start, like, I mean, I've finished 2 of them so early. I'm like, what? How am I gonna fill up the rest of the time? Don't worry. I've got an answer. I think. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Cool. Cool beans. Fun! Should I draw a cat on snow or ice? Make it on snow, so then you have to worry about the snowflakes in its fur, too. Besides D&D, what's been your favorite thing you've been obsessed with? I want you to take a wild guess, kiddo. I want you to take a wild guess. Hi, Faye. Welcome in. What's my favorite childhood series? That's tough. I mean, you can also take a wild guess. I'm pretty sure someone else will be able to get it real fast. The people who have been here long enough, I want you to take a wild guess at what my favorite other series is. This is demo 2 or 3 or 5? It's demo 3. Yeah. Because snow is really easy. Pokemon? I can't guess I know without it. I can't guess I know without a doubt. Alright, Kevin, how about you? How about you take a guess? What do you think? It's on the screen right now. What do I do for a fourth one? I genuinely don't know. Kirby, yeah. I'm like... It's like, you guys can't see my room. It's like my microphone has a Kirby on it. My camera has a Kirby on it. My mouse is Kirby. I drew Kirby today. Both of my monitors have at least 2 Kirbys on them. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Kirby figurines on my desk that are not on my monitors and keyboards and stuff. I have who knows how many Kirby plushies behind me. I've got several Kirby plushies as keychains on all of my bags and pins and buttons. My best friend crocheted me like 5 little Kirby plushies. I live and breathe Kirby. It's like I live for Kirby. I've been playing Kirby games since like 2009. My very first one was Kirby Superstar Ultra, and I went backwards. I've played the majority of mainline Kirby games. I'm missing a couple. I haven't played a lot of the spin-offs. I have played a good majority of the main Kirby games. I live for Kirby. I almost stole a Kirby car window decal someone's car for you the other night. Let's go. Don't steal. What do I do? Is Kirby my main in Smash? You bet. Who else would it be? When I would play Smash, yeah. I played a lot of Kirby. I played all the little guys. I liked the little guys that hit hard, but could also, and were really speedy. I liked playing Kirby, I liked playing Ness and Lucas, I liked playing Toon Link, and I liked playing Villager. Those were the 5 that I liked to play a lot. Sure, hair is snow. Would it behave differently? It would just be like snow. Like, what it would be, like, imagine you dumped a pile of snow on somebody. That's probably how I would do it. I just played Sheik and only Sheik because it was pretty, yeah. Could I make a snow Kirby? I did like Guardians of Ga'Hoole when I was a kid, yeah. Isn't Kirby the easiest character to play in Smash? And what of it? He's the best. I don't care about rankings, bro. I like my guy. He's silly, and I think that that's fun. I'm not competitive in any way. Okay, we've got 2 options, right? Okay. I can do one more snow thingy, which will be another half hour. Or, or I can kind of break character. We can do a bit of request doodling. And I can talk about why I like Nat Geo. Book 11, I don't even know how far I got, because it definitely wasn't done when I was still reading it. Break character, request doodles, yeah, doodles, we want doodles. Request doodles? Okay, let's do some request doodles. We're breaking character then. I hope you all enjoy the improv that comes with late night Nat Geo. This is the reason why you talk about Nat Geo sounds fun. Yeah, I love doing late night Nat Geo. Sometimes, because the idea stemmed at one point from, because we never used to, if you want a little peek behind the curtain, I never used to write. I never used to be part of the process of like, oh, what are we doing for stream? It was usually like somebody else who would write it for me. And sometimes like the streams, like, sometimes they're a bit harder to come up with demos for. Sometimes the lesson is harder to do because I'm like, how am I going to teach this? It's kind of just something that I look up a reference for. And I don't know how I'm going to turn it into an illustration. So I'm like, you know what we can do? It's like a topic that I don't think is super, super interesting. Or it's like a topic where I am like, I got to fill in time somehow. And I was like, you know what we can do? We can do this fun little improv. Let's make it a game. Let's make it some, like, lore behind the scenes, and then that's something that kind of connects longer time viewers. And, like, for people who are coming in and they're new and they're like, you don't know what's coming, dude. That kind of thing, which I think is fun. Give me some requests, by the way. I'll doodle some stuff that chat asks for. But no, I think it's fun to just be like, to try and like improv it out and be like, oh yeah, it's like snow, it's actually like DNA that's like particles. Clouds, they're like alive and like touching them hurts kind of thing. Which I think is fun. It's a good exercise for me as well. And I think it's fun for you guys to listen to. Silco Arcane. Corn, I'm seeing a couple people ask for Corn, my son. How do I do swift lines when things are so small? John from the Magnus Archives? You got it. Oh man. I haven't thought about, like, I know you mentioned it earlier. I do really love the Magnus Archives. I also like that, like, not everybody draws the characters the exact same. I was like, so I'll show you how I always imagined John, but I know, like, a lot of people, like, kind of envision them differently. Texture of glistening snow. We've drawn so much snow. I am like, we've done snow. It's like, snow is like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how to fill out a whole stream with just snow, because snow is just so easy. Long hair John Sperms, yeah. Oh, the way Jessie draws noses. Thanks! I was like, when I drew noses a lot, like I love drawing noses, how I've changed drawing them over time. I think, like, because for a long time I would do, like, the diamond and then, like, this kind of thing, which is what I would do. I saw somebody where the emphasis was on the bridge of the nose rather than the tip, which I thought was really interesting, where they had, like, just the bridge of the nose and then, like, the nostrils and, like, maybe some emphasis there, and that's about it. And what they would do is, like, they would change whether the bridge of the nose was there or not. It changed the shape of the nose. If you wanted a rounder nose, there was really no bridge of the nose, and they did that, which I was like, whoa, that's so cool. It's such a weird and interesting way to emphasize kind of the form of a nose. And I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, I think that's really, really cool. So I was like, yeah, I'll take that. I'm like, I recognize what this person's doing. I like the game that they're putting down. I thought that was really cool. It works too, yeah. Don't draw noses, doesn't fit in my art style. Some people don't. I used to, when I do like chibis, like if I'm doing like a kind of like the same way that I draw like my little avatar, I don't really do noses. Like it'll just kind of be like that. You know what I mean? Like there's no nose there, but like if I'm doing like a full-size doodle, like 100% I'll do like a nose of some kind. Gosh, it's been genuinely so dang long. I don't remember completely. So figuring out how I draw noses goes through many stages and phases. 100%. There are, when you're still learning, like figuring out your style, super common. Like I'm still kind of like, I find that the way that I draw things changes still. That's fine. I'm like, I've been drawing for who knows how long, for like forever. And like, I still change up the way that I draw things sometimes. Like, that's fine. Figure it out. Who cares? Like, one of my students, exclamation point classes, I like was telling my students recently, I'm like, listen, man, I'm like, having it all figured out, overrated. Like, we kind of figure stuff out slowly, you know, and there's no rush, right? I'm like, I told them, I'm like, I don't expect any of you to be masters. I don't expect any of you to be masters by the end of this class. I don't expect any of you to be masters at the beginning. I am like... I'm like, what you are here to do is you're here to learn. You're not here to master any kind of technique. You're here to kind of find what pathway you want. And guess what? That pathway is probably going to change again. It's not going to be the exact same forever, because that just means that you're going to stay stagnant forever, and that sucks. Right? So you're going to change. You're going to learn. Things are going to change for you, and that's okay. You know? Say that they become masters tomorrow? No, none of my students are masters. I am like, none of my students are masters. I am not a master, you know. I think it's arrogant to call yourself a master as a teacher. I'm like, I would never say that about myself, but you know. Anyone else got requests? Anything else you want me to work with? Anything else people want me to see? Like my characters, your characters? Well, not your characters. Don't send me things. But your characters that you want me to see. Like, maybe things I've done before. Maybe a demo? Anybody ask for anything? It's like they want to kind of help with drawing? Just a 2-nostril hole nose for her nose. She's a bird-human hybrid. Oh, 100%. I would, Vin. But she's officially under wraps, so I can't. Oh! Did you just crash? Oh. Well. It's okay. I just saved, so we're all good. It happens. It happens. It's okay. A crashing document is no problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. Let me just open stuff back up again. Stream. All 4 of my stream documents. Oh yeah, no, everything is super saved. Don't you worry about that. Everything is super saved. And plus, Photoshop is very nice about crashing things because it saves every 5 minutes. What do I use to draw on the computer? Exclamation point device Jessie. Oh, this needs to be a JPEG. Any good free applications? There's tons of good free applications. We used to work with Medibang. Medibang was pretty okay. Fire Alpaca, which is very similar to Medibang. Those are great for beginners. Those are great beginner ones. Krita is okay. I'm like, it's good for what it can do, but I really hate those shortcuts. It's a really big learning curve if you ever want to get out of it. Some people use Autodesk. That one is more of like a sketching tool, though. A bird-human hybrid. We can do that. I'll draw Lotus. I love drawing wings. But no, yeah, there's lots of different things you can use. Used to use Autodesk and moved to Procreate. Good. Procreate's really, really good. Procreate supremacy. I find that Procreate doesn't have enough for me. I also don't have an iPad. I am a really big fan of big, really, like, complicated programs, and I'm like... So I really like Photoshop and I really like Clip Studio. I'm like, Procreate is just a little too simple for me, I think. I'm like, I always want more and more and more. Blender donut tutorial when? I have never... I mean, I was just about to say have never used Blender. I actively have it on my desktop. No, I use Blender like for gray blocking if I need help with a background. If I am like really like struggling with something and I'm like, I need to model this out, then I'll use it. This character's cute. Yeah, this is my best friend's D&D character. She is not mine. But no, her name is Lotus. The campaign that she's in just ended a little bit ago, so. You know, Lotus is cool. Her name's Lotus. She's a little kid. D&D people, she's an Aarakocra monk. I don't remember what her subclass is. I think I've drawn her for past Wing streams before. Use Adobe Animate to draw and animate. Adobe Animate! I haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah, I mean, I haven't touched Animate in a really, really long time. I think the last time I touched it was when they were, like, first coming out with it, and it was, like, a trial. And I was like, oh, interesting. But I am not an animator, so it was never my cup of tea. Anyway. I see a head and I see a human, then I look at the bottom. You saw the head with a wing for an ear and you saw human? Oh, shoot. There we go. Hi, Crow. Hello, how are you? Wow, wow. Did you just wake up? I tried calling you earlier. I love monks. Unfortunately, I play a warlock. I love my martial classes. One of my classes I'm playing right now is a spellcaster, and I am struggling. I'm like, oh no! I have to think! It is the crow. Yes, the other bird has popped in. It's like 9 p.m. for you, is it? It's 4:50 for me, which means we have about 10 minutes left of stream. Which is great. Brought us right to the end. Can I finish this in 10 minutes? Yeah, easily. No problem whatsoever. No, I've been up. I tried calling you, but I think you're busy. I was awake when you called me. It just didn't tell me. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm streaming. When did you try calling me? Was it like a little bit ago, or? No idea how people do clothing design. This is a t-shirt. But I love fashion. I'm a really big fashion person. Joe, thank you for the $5 tip. Means a lot. I appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, I love fashion. I love looking into it. I love learning what different clothing styles are and how to match them and stuff like that. I know I did a lesson with my students a little while ago. Exclamation point classes. I know I did a lesson with my students a little while ago. I taught it for the first time. I taught how to do fashion design. So that lesson has been recorded somewhere. But yeah, it's actually a lot of more color and shape, texture, that kind of thing. Pairing the right pieces, pairing the right styles, the right eras, that kind of thing. Like doing proper fashion design, a lot of fun. It's like an hour ago. Oh, then yeah, I was definitely streaming. What's $1? I'm a Brit. You can probably Google it. I am a huge, huge fan of drawing wings. I love wings. They're so, so fun to draw. Really, really satisfying. Obviously, this is a doodle wing, so it's not, like, crazy, but I love the forms that you can do with them. I love the chunkiness of a wing. Wow. Oops. Looks like she'd have a lot of back pain from the size of her wings. I mean, bird bones are hollow, so they're pretty light, really. I would also imagine, especially if you have wings your entire life, you're probably well adjusted to carrying them. Yeah, bird bones are hollow, so wings are actually really, really light. Bird girl. Yeah, this is Lotus. She's not my character, but she's a lot of fun. Cute. Hi, Novada. Yeah, it was snow earlier. I did 3 demos, and I was like... each demo took less than an hour. I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't keep drawing the same snow stuff over and over. I was like, you know what, guys? It's like, let's have fun together. Let's do some sketching. Let's do some doodling. You guys can see me doodle in real time. How does a bed feel like when you have wings? Can you use it as a blanket? Maybe. Oh, so you had such huge wings, she'd constantly be tripping over them. They're really heavy. Should redesign it sometime, for sure. I love in design when you think about the logistics of how it works, because realistically, again, like, if somebody has something for their whole life, then they should be well adjusted to it. Not even like their whole life. If you've ever seen people who grow out their nails, right? It's from your body, so you adjust movement and you adjust the way you handle things to having longer extremities on your body. It's really interesting to see how you will adjust the way that you live based on what you have. So like somebody with super, super big wings, they've probably adjusted the way that they walk and the way that they hold themselves based on like what they have their whole life, right? So maybe if they have really big wings, maybe they tie them back like a ponytail, which I think could be cool. It could be like if you have like these really, really long sort of like feathers going on, like peacock style. It's like, it could be kind of cool. Like you have like them tied back like this, and if you need to like fly, then you can untie them, because it's not like every feather has like bone structure in it. Some of them do, but like the nerve endings are closer to the base of the feather by comparison to the end of them, because the end of them, once you get sort of to the end, it kind of feels like hair, I suppose, which is like interesting. I'm like, that's so like whoa. You know, it's fascinating to see how that kind of thing works. I think her lore was she didn't have it her whole life, and it was some sort of mutation. I don't exactly remember. That makes sense, because if they just get it, it's easier to deal with real long nails versus acrylics. There you go. Interesting stuff. I love thinking about that in design. I think it's really, really important, and it's really interesting. Again, rooting some design in like reality, I think is like really good to think of as a designer. The more plausible you get with a design, the more visually interesting and the more like grounded it'll feel. So it's like being able to do that, really cool. Maybe I'll use her for a nose and clothing design study so I can knock out 3 birds with 1 stone. There you go. That's it. That's the energy. Needs to be cool at the same time to be such a pain. Could be. In that case too, like if we had wings, right? How would society adjust to a person having wings, right? Having those physical kind of extremities on our bodies, that would change the way that clothes are made. It would change the way that like furniture is made. It would change everything, right? Think of like a design like in the way of like glasses, right? Glasses are built in the way where they adjust for our noses being in the way. And they hook onto our ears because our ears are there and they can hold the glasses in place along with our nose, right? If we had wings, fashion would have to change to account for the fact that we have wings on our back. And that's like a whole other extremity that we have to watch out for. Very similar to tails. Like how would like something adjust if we had a tail, right? When we're designing, this is called a what if factor. It's like you bring in all these like what if questions, and by answering those questions, you make yourself a better design, right? What if factor is also like you coming up with an idea and you going like, what if this is what happened? So you implement it and then you kind of decide whether you like it or not. And if you don't, then you can just erase it. You know, it's what helps keeps the ideas flowing, you know, makes it so stuff doesn't feel too stagnant, that sort of thing. Important. It's really, really important in design. It's important and it's fun. Makes things fun. It's Corn. Yes, it's my son. My son. All right, friends. That is 5 o'clock. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining this mostly snow stream. But I hope you had fun at the end anyway. All right. What else we're ending? Our mission here at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone. Right? So you should join us for a free live stream lesson every single week, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we are an online school of illustration, helping art nerds turn their passion into income. So if you're an art nerd, be sure to check the links to our Discord. Where to go? Link to our Discord, where you can find our notes and artwork from streams, as well as art challenges and other resources to help you improve your art. And I also want to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members for supporting our mission. YouTube members can chat with our instructors and see video drafts before they're released, and Patreon members can level up their artwork with classes, Q&A, and live critiques, and personal support like draw-overs from instructors, which, by the way, we have classes, wingcanvas.com. Check out the classes that we offer. I am one of the instructors. There are other instructors in here. Faye was in here for a period of time. Every other streamer that you see is one of the instructors, so if you want to book one of our classes, feel free to do so. Our winter term is coming up. Our fall term is just ending. So next year we will have winter classes open and available. So if you want to check out those, feel free to do so. But yeah, cool and epic. Next stream, you guys have tomorrow. Who do you have tomorrow? I believe it's Josh. It is! Tomorrow you guys have Josh. Josh is going to show you guys how to animate clothes. Josh is going to show you guys how to animate clothes. Oh! And then it's me again. Apparently I'm streaming this Monday as well. So you guys will have me on Monday as well. I will be streaming once again. You guys will learn about the appendicular skeleton with me. Cool and epic. But alright, y'all. Thank you all so much for joining me this stream, and I'll see y'all Monday, I suppose. Au revoir. Bye-bye.